Hey beauties, it's Riri. Welcome back to another day of Vlogmas, aka Durismas. This is my 31-day holiday marathon. We do a video every single day in the month of December, and today, y'all, it is a brand new brand to me. I picked up almost the entire collection of the Pretty Smart makeup line. This is a line that is pretty new to Walmart, and I was doing an online grocery order. I happened to see these pop up, so I decided to get a whole face for us. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to go into some primer first because I like to let my primer sit on the skin for a few minutes before I go in, and everything in the entire line, you guys, is under $10. So I picked up a bronzer, a blush, a highlighter, a palette, I got a primer and a foundation. I also got a mascara and a lip plumper, like lip gloss. So the primer is the Pretty Smart Diffusing Face Primer. They are also vegan. And I love the aesthetic of everything. If you're new here, my favorite colors are yellow and pink. So already the packaging, y'all, it got me. And the price point also got me. It is safety sealed. That is awesome. And this doesn't really say a whole lot. It literally just says Diffusing Face Primer, vegan, applied to clean skin. So I'm gonna test out the, okay, that is quite thin. Oh, all right. It just kind of feels like a thicker serum consistency. They did have a like glow drops type of product, and then they also had, this is the diffusing, they also had a like hydrating glowy primer as well. The texture feels nice. It feels just kind of like a thicker gel consistency. I don't smell anything at all. Not really seeing a whole lot of diffusion. And if you are new here, I am about to be 46. I do have larger pores, texture, rosacea, all the things. So we'll see what happens. It feels comfortable. It feels nice. I'm actually, even though this is not like the hydrating one, I'm actually seeing a little bit of hydration, a little bit of like plumpness. Not really seeing a whole lot of smoothing in my pores, maybe a little through here. We'll kind of see what happens. I'm going to throw on a brow really quickly. I'm just going to go into my MCO brow pencil, and I'll BRB. All right, brows are on, and I actually do feel like I'm seeing a little bit of a diffusion of my pores. So far so good. I really like that thus far. I think I'm going to go ahead and do my eyes first, just in case I have a lot of fallout or something like that. And this is the 103 Celebrity Artist Eyeshadow Palette with the shades Silk Truffle, Billy, Bear, and Terracotta. And everything is sealed and has like the little stickers and stuff like that. So I also like that part of it. And they did not have a brow pencil. They did have a brow gel. I opted to not get that. I felt like I wanted to try enough to kind of give you guys my thoughts and stuff like that. They also had a couple different primers. They had a couple different types of mascara, and then they also had a liquid liner. So this is literally the bare necessities. You know what I mean? It's a very light, neutral, natural palette going in with a fluffy brush. I'm going to go into the lighter, more bone shade first. Not experiencing any kick up at all, and it is picking up okay on the brush. I'm going to sweep this almost all the way up, actually pretty much up to my brow. If you ever have trouble blending your eyeshadows too, this is a really good tip. If you go in with a kind of bone colored shade or skin tone shade for your skin tone and apply that first, everything else on top of that is going to blend a little bit easier. I personally don't always feel like I get the level of pigment that I'm trying to reach if I do that. Meaning, like for me, I like to really build up this like outer corner and stuff like that. And sometimes, like for me, I like a primer because I like the way that they stick, I guess, is the easiest way to say that. But if you do have issues with any type of blending or anything like that, this is a really good tip. So again, taking that pretty much up to my brow. You're not really gonna like see the shade. Same exact brush, I'll go into the next shade down. Again, not a whole lot of kick up, but it is picking up beautifully on the brush. Whoa! Okay, I was not expecting that. And I'm gonna do the same exact thing, but I'm coming lower. And another really good tip too is if you're somebody that you're like, look, I don't want all the bells and whistles, I own 3 brushes, or whatever the case may be. You can go in with the exact same brush, and I tend to work darkest to lightest because, again, I like that intensity on my outer corner. However, if you go in and you're going lightest to darkest, you guys, you can use one brush for your entire makeup look. Brush and then your fingers. Your fingers are your best tools. So that is blending incredibly well. This is not like the most crazy impactful thing, but I wasn't even anticipating that. I say this all the time. I'm not a fan of drugstore eyeshadows, just full transparency. Everywhere else in the drugstore, I feel like they nail it. I feel like, you know, more specifically, like, you know, brow products, mascaras, complexion, meaning like, you know, foundations and stuff like that. But I've never really had the best of luck with eyeshadows. And these, pretty nice, you guys, pretty nice. Now I'm going to go into the deepest, darkest brown, again, picking up beautifully on the brush. And because I do want it to be a little bit more intense, and keep in mind, we do not have our base on yet, so I can be as sloppy as I want to be. You know, things don't have to be perfect or anything like that. And then if something does happen, I get a little bit of fallout or anything like that, I get a little bit carried away, I can always clean it up. Incredibly pigmented. Again, very true to pan color. I don't often say I'm impressed by drugstore stuff, and I obviously cannot attest to long wearability, which is the most important thing for me. I will leave a pinned comment or pop it right here and let you guys know how well this wore. But the fact that this is blending in the way that it is pretty true to pan color, that is blending into these other two shades, you can very, you know, clearly see the gradient that I'm aiming for here. I am able to build it up, but it is not getting muddy or patchy. It's not like just kind of sticking in place. Okay, y'all. So far, I feel like things are going pretty damn well. All right, I'm going to transition into a more firm, like packing style brush. And that's only because I really want to kind of intensify it right here at the lash line. Okay. What are your favorite drugstore brands? I would love to know. Yeah, that is looking pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go back into a fluffy brush. I keep a towel down here on my lap. I'm gonna go in between those first two shades that I used, and I just want to graze the edges right here, just to make sure I have a nice soft blend. Yeah, blending well. Everything is true to pan. Nothing looks patchy or anything like that. And I want to say one of their main things is the fact that they don't have talc in their products. I want to say that I saw that. And then just with my finger, I'll go into the more highlighting type shade. That feels way smoother. Whoa. That feels way smoother than some. Whoa. Okay. Now, is this the bells and the whistles? Is this, you know, what I'm used to with indie brands? No, but I say that all the time. It doesn't have to be. You know, I'm fine with a little bit more soft, a little bit more natural. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I have done two. You've seen one, but you haven't seen the other look yet. But I've used two neutral leaning, like very soft, natural, everyday, if you will, palettes recently. And one of them was a very luxury brand. And this looks very similar. Again, I cannot attest to long wearability, but already I like this better than even like e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes and stuff like that I've tried. So that is saying a lot. I'm going to go in with a teeny tiny brush now. And I'm going to pop the inner corner with that. Okay, y'all. And everything here was under $10. Some things were $9.98, some were $8.98, and some were as low as $6.98. I'll link the products for y'all too. Okay, y'all, look, so far, I feel like we're doing great. Next up, I'm going to go into the foundation. Hopefully this is the right shade, and they actually had a pretty diverse and pretty good shade range, which I was also shocked by. And this is a little bit bigger than the standard 1 ounce. It is 32 mils, 1.08. This is the Instant Chemistry Medium Coverage Foundation. I got 312 Light, Medium, Warm. Hopefully it's okay. I like the packaging. I'm a fan of squeezy tubes. I really like them. And it literally doesn't really say a whole lot. It says what it's called. Apply foundation starting at the center of the face, blending outwards, and that's kind of it. And this is a water-based foundation. Let me check the primer. Sorry if I just shook you guys up. And a water-based primer. So these should play very well together. And if you're unfamiliar, you typically want to use a water-based primer with a water-based foundation, a silicone-based primer with a more silicone-based foundation, so on and so forth. So if you are having issues and you're like, you know what, my foundation's not sitting on my, my skin correctly, things are not playing well together, just kind of make sure that the formulations go well together. I'm going to start with a little tiny bit. I would call it mid-density. You don't see it full on like running down my arm, but it's not so thick that it's like a mousse or like a heavy cream. So I'm gonna go in with a kabuki style brush. You can use a sponge. And I like to, for foundation application, build up my brush evenly and disperse everything evenly. The color I think is gonna be great. The texture feels lovely. No scent at all. And I like to start here because of all my redness and stuff like that. I always do one side of the complexion and then I get up close and personal for y'all to see. Blending incredibly well, no scent. I like the texture of this. I like that it's kind of in between. It's not a super liquidy, runny liquid foundation, but it's not like a heavy cream. Ooh, a little tiny bit light. Obviously my, my arms and stuff are still a little bit darker from summertime, but I think in the next couple of weeks, this is going to be an absolute perfect shade for me. Ooh, you guys, look, I'm excited, y'all. Okay. Picking up a little bit. That's all I've used too. Like I picked up enough that I could do my entire face with this. And I'm a less is more beauty. I put the products kind of where I need it, so to speak, and then I kind of blend it out from there. I do not usually opt for concealer, so I'm going to take whatever little residual foundation is left and put that under my eye. And my mirror it's right here. It's very close to me. I am not seeing any gathering. I am not seeing any settling. It is a medium coverage. It is enough that it has covered all of my redness, but I'm seeing just a little bit of like spots and stuff like that. It feels like I'm wearing nothing. That's beautiful. So you can see in the before, tons of redness, broken capillaries. I have some old acne scarring, just a lot of hyperpigmentation, overall uneven skin tone. And you can see in the after, everything, there's just a beautiful veil of coverage. Everything is, kind of perfected. There's a clean canvas there. I like that. Let me do this side off camera. I'll BRB. All right, here is the complexion after both sides are done. I'm gonna finish up the eyes. I'm gonna go into that deep dark shade, and I'm going in with a teeny tiny little pencil style brush. These obviously do not have mirrors on them. I do not mind that. I don't care if a product has a mirror in it or not, because I typically will do my makeup right here in front of my mirror. All right, look y'all, so far I'm thrilled. I'm really excited about these products. Next up, I will go into bronzer. This is the shade 050 talc-free bronzer in the shade Hermosa 2. Again, everything is sealed. And even though these are smaller, they're kind of standard, cardboard packaging, they still have a little bit of weight to them. They don't feel cheap. I'm gonna go in with my Judy brush from the crayon case, as I always do. It's just my favorite. I love the color of this. It feels incredibly soft and silky. There's a slight radiance to this too that I really love. Picks up nice on the brush. I'm kind of nervous. And I opt to start way up high, kind of into my hairline. Oh, yes, that's pretty. And I choose to do that because a lot of times if I'm kind of just watching somebody else, I don't like to see there's bronzer all over and then there's blush set on top, and I can't tell what the bronzer looks like or where the bronzer kind of ends and begins. So for me personally, I like to do it in this manner where I can see that little bit of warmth where the sun kind of naturally kissed me, and then I can actually see it and then kind of blend it and diffuse it into my blush. That is a personal preference. Obviously, do what makes you feel like the best version of yourself. I like that This is super soft. It has just that slight kind of luminescent quality. So I think that if you have dry skin or oily skin, you could use this. And you can see I'm able to go in with a less is more approach, but I really do feel like you could also amp this up. And I don't feel like you could do too much. Like, it blends incredibly, incredibly easy. That is beautiful. I did use my Timo hair straightening brush again. I love that thing so much. I do have a full video with like my first impressions and everything else up. I hope you guys are enjoying Vlogmas. I am having a freaking blast, and I'm actually I do live premieres every single morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. So I'm having fun. I'm having a great time with you guys. Next up, we'll go into the blush. This is the shade 037 in Crescendo. And I didn't realize it was shimmery. Oh, even better. If you don't like shimmery, this obviously is not for you. It is a shimmery, like peachy goldy shade, kind of giving NARS Orgasm vibes, if NARS Orgasm actually had some pigment in it. I'm going to go into a angled brush. I'm going to opt for a less is more approach because I don't want to use too much. Oh, very pretty. And I love a peachy blush. Like, they are my favorite. Like a peachy red blush, terracotta. I love them all. A little bit more subtle. Let me pick up a little bit more. Okay, yeah, you can definitely punch it up a little bit. And I'm somebody that, because I do have dry skin, I like a little bit of sheen. I like more of like that kind of ethereal lit from within glow. So I like these. I like the products themselves. I like the texture and the finish of these. Now, if I wanted to stay very soft, very natural, or if you're somebody that you're like very anti-highlight, you can see that this gives just a little kind of kiss. Again, that kind of lit from within type of effect. So if you wanted to use just this blush, I personally think that just the blush is enough to kind of give you that little bit of sheeniness. But so far so good. I'm loving everything so far, you guys. I'm pretty shocked. And then next up is the highlighter. Hold on one second. This is the highlighter 056 Sparkling Aurora highlighter in the shade Solar Worship. Everything does also have like the little protective sleeves and stuff on it. This feels a little bit kind of thicker and a little bit more dry, dare I say. And I'm going to go in with a brush. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of weird about highlighters like this. Sometimes they can kind of accentuate my texture. So I'm going to take a less is more approach. Oh, very pretty. Very subtle. I feel like if I sprayed my complexion, which I typically do after all my powder products, I feel like if I sprayed my complexion, that would kind of amp it up just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of an accentuation on some texture. I don't mind that. I'm human. I got skin. Y'all, I'm thrilled so far. I am going to go ahead and spray. This works if you have dry skin or oily skin. If you just take a finishing spray, a setting spray, a luminous spray, whatever the case may be. If you just go in with a little bit of spray, and I like to do it after all of my powder products, specifically because I am dry, but it works for everybody. But if you go in and you spray the complexion and just barely, I'm barely tapping the sponge to my complexion, to my skin. This just kind of takes away any powderiness, kind of takes away any chalkiness, cakiness, and it kind of makes everything just kind of pull forward a little bit. Like everything looks just a little bit more kind of lit from within. It looks like everything has kind of become one with my skin instead of everything kind of sitting on top of the skin, if that makes sense. I am thrilled you got, like, I'm going to say it. The Natasha Denona Rose and Wood palette I just used, this is that exact same look. It looks just as good. Like, I'm shocked. I am going to go in now with some mascara. This is the shade 110 or number 110 Black, the Success Falsies mascara. And the packaging, I could not be more thrilled about. Like, I live for a pink moment, you guys. All right. It is feeling like a much drier formula, which I like. It is quite black, quite intense. Let me see if this is flexible. Yes, this is kind of giving me Maybelline Sky High vibes. And if you guys know and you've been here for a while, that's one of my all-time favorite mascaras. I generally will curl my lashes. For today and for demo purposes, I will not. This seems incredibly black. Already, just in the first few swipes, it is already giving me what I want. I'm getting that beautiful length. I prefer, well, I like length and volume. I guess I'm selfish. But it's definitely giving me Maybelline Sky High vibes. Maybe not quite as intense. Like Maybelline Sky High gives me like a ton of separation and a ton of length. So this is not, in my opinion, and just based on right now, not getting a whole lot in terms of, you know, volume or curl. I do like how black it is. And I do like the amount of length that I'm getting. And I'm somebody that I will always go back to mascara, even if like my very first impression of it was like, hey, this is trash. Because mascaras, in my opinion and in my experience, they tend to kind of change in like their consistency and stuff and the way that they apply as they're open for a little while. Yeah, and I'm you know, adding and adding and adding, and they're not getting clumpy at all. They did also have some waterproof versions. I am not a fan of waterproof mascara, but that's me. Yeah, I like this. Is it blowing my socks off? No, but I feel like a couple coats of this and it is absolutely giving me Maybelline Sky High vibes. If you can hear the rain or my dog snoring, I'm sorry. All right. I like it. Not blowing my socks off, but really pretty, and I will use it up. Let me do the other side. I'll be RP. All right, and then to finish off our look is the Faux My God Lip Plumper 081 Sparkling Neutral. So it's supposed to be a plumping gloss. It is also sealed. I like the little wand. Oh, it smells like mint. That's not my favorite, which I don't mind it, but I don't prefer it. Okay, not super high shine. This is almost kind of reminding me more of like a balm. As you can see, I'm not getting like a whole lot of like full-on shine or anything like that. It doesn't feel sticky. I'm not getting like the weird booty hole lips. It feels quite thin, quite light, and quite comfortable. I'll definitely wear it, and I like it. I just wish there was more. I want a little bit more to this, a little bit more shine, a little bit more color maybe. I am feeling it just a little bit. This is not a like cinnamon burny tingling plumper. I'm feeling just a little bit of coolness. I actually like that, so much so that I'm going to put a little bit more. It can look a little frosty if you kind of overdo it, I feel like. There we go, a little bit more shine. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna, while this is sitting for a second, I'll talk about all the products and stuff like that, and then we'll kind of see if this does, you know, really does anything. The only things that I'm just kind of like, you know, I could take them or leave them is the highlighter. It's just it's a little kind of thicker, if you will. It's a little bit more kind of that opaque type of formula that I talk about. More of like a satin, like eyeshadow type consistency. It still looks really pretty on the skin. I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite. I would not purchase this. I would not repurchase it. And then the mascara, for $10 versus, you know, $6 or $7, I'd rather just get the Maybelline Sky High, but it is really pretty. It is giving me some beautiful length. It's just not my all-time favorite, but I do like it and I will use it up. And I feel like if you kind of layer it up, I like that part of it. It is incredibly black, and I like the fact that I can layer and layer and layer, and it never got clumpy or anything like that. It's just not 100% my favorite. The rest of these, honestly, standouts. Like the primer, it gave me a little soft diffusion, but I like the texture and stuff like that of it. It felt really nice applying to the skin. It kind of set down like pretty quickly, like the packaging. The foundation, 100% a standout. I think this is absolutely stunning, specifically and especially for $10, but it looks beautiful. And even though it's more of a medium type coverage, you can see that I don't look masky, heavy, or cakey, and it feels like nothing. I do not feel it on my skin at all. The eyeshadow palette, another standout, you guys. I'm telling you, if I remember, hopefully I remember, Darissa, Riri in editing Riri, future Riri. Remember to put your look from the Resinwood palette. Y'all, this is the exact same look. For $6 versus $48, which is what that Natasha Denona would cost. Ooh, I am actually feeling this now. And oddly, I've never experienced that. It feels like it's getting a little bit more kind of glossy as I'm wearing it. Maybe I'm just seeing things. That is pretty. It is taking away the lip lines. Again, not uncomfortable, not super burny. Like, I love products like that, like the Too Faced lip injections. I love those, the Maybelline ones. This is way more subtle than that. So if you've been looking for an alternative to a plumper, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I kind of wish it was a little bit more, you know, meaning like I'd like to see the champagniness to this. Maybe a little bit more gloss, but it's beautiful. And you can see even when I'm talking, there's no gloopy. It's great. It's great. The eyeshadow, fantastic. The blush, beautiful, fantastic. The bronzer, another standout. I think it is absolutely stunning. Everything blended well, everything played well together, everything built up, you know, collectively together, layered like with the eyeshadows. I was able to achieve pan color. I feel beautiful. I feel great. And that says something. And all of this makeup, you guys, was around $60. Pretty smart. I know you don't know why I exist, honey, but you did the damn thing. This, I say they're worth trying. I say it's a go. That is it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. If you did enjoy, I'd love to have you be part of my beauty family. Thank you so much to my beautiful channel members. I love you. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.